if you look at the thumbnail and got your attention, the way to make money is not to lose money, right? Because if you lose too much money and the hole becomes bigger and bigger, deeper and deeper, it's really hard to get yourself out of that hole sometimes. And then things really, really spiral out of control. When you're losing money and, oh gosh, you've got to take up another loan to make up that deficit. And it's the same with gambling, right? You go to Las Vegas and you're losing, you think, okay, I'm going to run to the ATM, I'm going to withdraw more money, I'm going to make up all the lost money. It doesn't work like that. But it's not bad in the gig world to pay some educational dollars, right? Some educational Benjamins. You're throwing a bit of money at a business or at a gig job to find out, hey, what's working, what's not working for me. And research. I'm not the only channel. There's a lot of other channels, good channels out there that share their formulas, how they did it, how they built their business. And you watch and learn. And then comes that big moment. And I'm talking about newbies that are maybe jumping into the business right now. You might have a few more good years, maybe another 5 years before autonomous vehicles really cut into your earnings. Or you're a veteran and you're finding out, you know what, you're getting paid less and less. You're not really watching the costs. You're not controlling your costs. You're concentrating more on the earnings and not the costs. And you find yourself sort of slipping. There's a lot of veterans right now that are slipping into a little bit of a spiral. And you got to be careful. You got to recognize, shit, there's something wrong with my formula. It's not working. It doesn't help if I'm doing the same thing over and over again and I'm digging the hole deeper and deeper. Somebody just asked me, how can I sue Uber or Lyft? Well, I'm just going to quickly answer that one. What are you suing them over? Is it a cleaning fee? Is it monies they owe you? You may want to look up the maximum in your state. If you're in the United States, look up the maximum small claims amount, get the small claims forms, fill them out, file them at the court, serve the company, and take them to court. That's about the easiest way you will get paid. Now, back to making money, losing money. In food delivery, I mean, if you're in food delivery, I'm just going to say this straight up. If you're chasing those $1.50, $2 deliveries, and you have a car, I don't care what car you have. I really don't care what car you have. But if you are driving in a vehicle and you are chasing $1.50, $2 food deliveries, you are not making money. You're losing money. You're going backwards. And you might think, oh great, I'm in the quantity of trips, I'm doing 20, 30 of these deliveries, making $50, $60. You're not making money. I'll guarantee you are not making money, because what you're not taking into consideration are all the costs involved with that vehicle. Insurance, mileage, wear and tear, and quickly after 2, 3, 4 years, you have burnt that vehicle out. Why? You've been chasing these $1, $2 deliveries. Maybe here and there, you got some tips. Many a times you were tip baited, right? You're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to make money because they promised me a tip. Well, they can tip bait you. If you are chasing those $1.50, $2 food deliveries in a car, get out of it right now. But if you're downtown in a big city, let's say you're in LA, downtown, a lot of little restaurants, you have a bicycle, electric bike, or you have a scooter, and you're zipping around there, and you're not burning up gasoline, the restaurants are close, a lot of, and multiple restaurants, and for the clients to choose from, or you're downtown New York or Boston, any big metropolitan city, even overseas, whether it's Lisbon, whether it's Berlin, whether it's Paris, and you're on a scooter, on a bike, and there's a lot of restaurants, and there's a lot of residential buildings, and it's short little trips, deliveries, and in the quantities you can actually make money. So yeah, you can make money in food delivery. I believe if you're in a downtown sort of metropolitan area with a lot of restaurants, more high-end clients that are buying from, ordering from high-end restaurants, and you're using an e-bike or a scooter. But if you're in a residential area and you've got trips here, there, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes there, and you have to do $1.50, $2 in food delivery, you're not making money. And when we're talking rideshare, okay, rideshare we can't do on an e-bike. Rideshare we cannot do with a bicycle or a scooter. It has to be a car. So when you're looking at the car, am I going to go and buy the wrong vehicle for this type of rideshare business? A high maintenance car, right? Maybe that is very well known. Maybe like an Audi that's very well known for electrical issues. And if something goes wrong, it's $2,000-$3,000. You really need to know what you are doing in this business. There's some stupid idiot. Sorry, I had to kick some little obnoxious. Somebody said get a Camry. Yeah, I mean a Camry, a Corolla, a Civic, a Prius. You can buy those 100,000 miles used for good money. You can shop around on Craigslist. You can shop around on Facebook Marketplace. You can go one better than that. You can go to auctions. You can go to auctions, whether it's a public auction or whether it's a dealership auction. Source the right car. Buying the right car at the right type of money, you're already making money. You're not losing money. But you will definitely be losing money if you're going in and buying a brand new car, high maintenance, not the right car for the right category. You're financing it at super high rates, suicide rates. You're losing money. You're not making money. So if you want to make money, you better not be losing money. And you don't want to start this business with losing money. Now, one thing you can do from day one, and should be doing as a veteran, is keeping your car spotless. This is you, this is your image. No food, no crap in the car, always clean inside, outside, and give platinum service for tips. I'll guarantee you, there's a lot of people say, whoa, people don't tip. People don't tip. No, it's statistics. If you're doing 100 trips and you're always giving your A game, great service, taking the baggage, the luggage out at the airport for the people, doesn't matter if it's XLX, SUV, you give them the same consistent platinum service over 100 trips. I will guarantee you, if I take person A, sloppy, doesn't care what his car looks like, or she doesn't care what her car looks like, don't care about customer service, I will compare person A to person B, the person who's giving top service and keeps the car clean, to person B over 100 trips. And I'll guarantee you, person A, who's all in with the service, with the cleanliness, is making more money. Guaranteed. The other person could be losing money, losing a lot of money on potential tips. Never say that a person doesn't tip. Oh, you know what, I've been doing this. Well, if you've given up on tips, you're obviously not doing it the right way. Now, a few other good little pointers that I wrote down here. Don't focus too much on the earnings. Focus on the profits. How can I make money? How can I up my profits? Well, maybe it's time to shop around and compare insurance premiums, right? Can you bring them down? Then make the switch. I've shopped around for rideshare insurance. Now, obviously, I shop around for commercial insurance. multiple times. It's going up and up and up. And I'm like, you know what? It's got to be a company out there or an insurance company that has better deals. I'll try it out. And if I have multiple cars, multiple commercial vehicles, I need an umbrella insurance, I got to keep my costs down, right? And you get a better, far better rate if you have multiple cars in your fleet. We'll talk about fleets in a short while, because fleets is where you can really make money. Fleets have, if you start your own fleet, they have a phenomenal ROI, return on investment. But back to the basics, keeping costs down. Do I know where I can get the best gas price? Now, I was low on gas early on at 25 miles left. I was sort of forced to go to a close gas station, and it sort of hurt me that I had to fill up for $4.65. It hurt me because I have multiple places where I can fill up for $4, $4.10, $4.20. If I'm looking at 20 gallons, obviously I'm not going to put a full 20 gallons at $4.60. But even if I put 10 gallons in, and I know that I've lost 10 times 40 cents, $4. That one error that I made, letting the car come down to 20 miles, and then I was forced to go to the closest gas station, cost me $4. It cost me a gallon of gasoline. A gallon of gasoline in my Cadillac or in my Suburban could be 17 to 20 miles that I just lost. A gallon in one of my Sienna hybrids could be 35 miles that I just lost. That is how you need to think. Now, there are multiple apps. There are multiple apps to make your life easier. I'm concentrating on the road, by the way. That's why I'm not reading the messages. I'm focusing on the lane. I'm on the 405, and you can see me, you can hear me, but my eyes are on the road, right? Some people say, well, how can you do live feeds and when you're driving? No, my eyes are constantly on the road. In fact, I have a Ford in front of me. I have a Honda Odyssey changing into my lane. I got to focus there. If I was here all the time, bam, it'd be too late. Now, there's many useful apps. Mile IQ, clock your miles, what's private, what's business, so that at the end of the day, you get the maximum back from the IRS. Could be a big chunk of money that you're losing out on because you're not tracking miles correctly, right? You could have a gas app, like I think Upside or whatever the gas app, and you could be making 5 cents there, 10 cents extra there, 25 cents. You could be referring other drivers, and it adds up. For me, having that gas app is about another $20, $30 per week extra. It's almost like half a tank bonus, just having that app. You could have an app like GigU, right, where you become very selective, you cherry pick, you know your worth, you only drive if a trip hits your worth, right? And the problem is, most of the people who are losing money, they're just taking everything. They're taking every single food delivery, every little single trip. They're not taking into consideration times and miles and wear and tear on the car. They're not being selective. You have to spend some educational dollars to figure out what works best in my formula where I live. Where do I start? Where do I make the most money in my city? Or do I just randomly, blindly drive around all over the show and take everything? I'll guarantee you, if you know your geography, if you know your city, if you know the money-making spots in your city, and you know when to drive, and when to drive can often play a big role, because, you know, maybe after 11, 12 at night, it just becomes too dangerous. So then all the money in the world doesn't really help you, because you're constantly under stress and facing dangerous trips because you're working in ridiculous hours. But let's say you're doing the morning shift or the mid-afternoon shift or the evening weekend shift, and you figure out for yourself, when do I drive? Which areas do I drive? And you start fine-tuning that formula, and you're making more money. You're not losing money. But if you're randomly driving all over the show all day long, you're losing money because the companies are not paying in 2025. I would not be making this video in 2015, my friends, but I'm making this video in 2025 when the earnings, what they are paying out, has hit rock bottom, when the take rate for a food delivery driver or a rideshare driver is at its lowest. And we'll have the same conversation in 2026. It'll probably be lower than 2025. But in 2015, I would not have made this video. Now, keeping your costs down. Oh, am I constantly going to the car wash and paying $5 to $15 multiple times a month, not paying attention to my costs, not really calculating what I'm paying on cleaning? Hey, get yourself some spray wax, some fiber, good exercise, rub on, rub off, get some exercise, keep your car clean, keep your cleaning costs down. There's a lot of ways, my friends. Shopping for insurance, shopping for the right gas station, the gas prices, shopping the right way for cleaning, because cleaning brings you tips. So there's a lot of things you can do to keep your costs down. There's a lot of things you can do to make more money. Don't want to be in a situation where 3 years later you've run that car into the ground, 200,000 miles, you've been clocking 70,000 miles a year. 3 years later, 210,000 miles, the car gives up on you, and you still have two of the financing left. You're losing money. At that moment, you will realize, shit, I'm losing money. Okay? So, if you are actually starting to make money and you're putting money aside, and you have your rent under control, or you have your mortgage under control, or you have all your costs associated with your family, your home, your schooling, your kids under control, and you're actually putting money aside, I would highly suggest diversifying a little bit. Plan A is your gig job. Plan B might be, hey, I'm going to start a fleet. If you need to start a fleet, the link below at Gig Rocket will show you how to start a fleet. Meaning, I have learned what it takes to make money in this business. Now, how can I grow my business by adding cars and duplicate my formula and teach my formula to other drivers? And when I'm talking about formula, I know where I make the most money, and that's on private trips. And if you're doing a combination of private trips and Uber and Lyft, you're doing Uber and Lyft to sort of pay all your costs, and you're starting to build out your private clients, and the private clients are actually the ones making you the money. And with that money, I'm now buying other cars at auctions, and I'm leasing out those cars at $600, $650 per week. I'm starting to make money. I can build. To go out buy 5 or 10 cars at one shot. I build. Add a car, add another car, add another car, and over a few years, 4 or 5 years, you have yourself a beautiful little fleet of cars. But please, when you're buying cars, think about what I said. Public auctions, dealership auctions, you can save $10,000, $15,000 on a car. Look at cars that have 80, 100,000 miles. Very often it's not worth it in this Lyft or Uber business to go out and buy a brand new vehicle. Yeah? Keep your costs down, learn how to shop, learn how to buy. Now, you've just bought a car, a used car, you're going out there 2, 3, 4 months, you're figuring it out, you're educating yourself about the business, you're starting to make money. One thing I'm going to put out, it's a big scary factor. These companies love freaking deactivating drivers. You could have just had a great car and had a great run 6 or 12 months, and some rider throws you under the bus. And they say, shit, I've committed to that car, I still have 4 years of payments, I've been deactivated. Man, have I seen that happen to drivers thousands of times. And that's why I say, when you are clocking trips, make sure and this, make sure you are always strive for a 5-star rating, because even if you're 4.95 or 4.96 rating and you get deactivated, you can always turn around to the company and say, listen, I want to appeal this. I have 4,000 trips. I'm a 5-star rated driver. I've never had a complaint. And then I had one person who wanted a freebie, who said I smelled like alcohol, or my car smelled like marijuana, or was driving erratically. You know, you need a good, clean record with high ratings if you want to stay away from deactivation. So, you know, if you don't care about your car, if you don't care about the cleanliness, and your personal driver ratings are going down, and at a certain point, they'll cut you off. They do not want low rated drivers on the platform. They seem to tolerate low rated riders, but they do not want low rated drivers on the platform. And you might get a second chance by doing a course and you get back on. Do not risk deactivation over, you know, sloppiness, unclean cars, low ratings. Don't get into the business if that is your mindset from the very beginning. Don't get into the business if that is how your mind is programmed, right? So other pointers that I can really, once you've got this Uber and Lyft formula down, once you have the right car down, once you have your costs down and you're making money, that's why I sort of teamed up with GigU and I say, hey, we've got to bring out this profit calculator. It's a phenomenal tool. You know, work out your true profit. Most drivers don't know, but it's about 70% of the drivers concentrate on the earnings. They're not concentrating on the profits. Maybe 50% don't even realize that they're losing money, not making money, right? So you learn how to make money and not lose money, you're heading in the right direction, my friends. Few other little things I could mention. You know, I'd rather be very selective, and I'd rather be like a champion cherry picker, picking the right trips, paying trips, and have a much lower acceptance rate than running a gazillion miles on my car and burning it out after 2-3 years. That's when you're losing money, right? So from all the drivers that I've spoken to, from the drivers in my fleet, and I analyze, I look at stats. Cherry picking pays off, and a lower acceptance rate, not just accepting every type of crap, pays off. And that GigU app, by the way, unfortunately only on Android, not on iPhone, is phenomenal in those decisions. So I think we covered a lot there. I am going to go for my coffee right now. I really need a coffee. I appreciate you all. Maybe let me take a few minutes here and let me go through some of the comments and give a shout out to the people that are in the house. Now I'm actually stopping the car, meaning my eyes can come off the road, right? Did I cover everything? Yes, I think I covered quite a lot there in 25 minutes. I think I covered quite a lot. Yep, I covered my main points. Now, let's just see here who's in the house. Jimmy is in the house. Ultra's in the house. Hustle's in the house. Says left or right. In the United States, we are driving on the right side. Lady K's Transportation says, yes, I know. I took your chauffeur course years ago and I'm just promoting the company in Phoenix. Fantastic. Yeah, I know Lady K's Transportation. Very, very proud of you, what you have done, Lady K. I really am, because you and I have known each other for many, many years. You've been promoting, building. If any driver wants to learn from a pro, reach out to Lady K. Understands the formula. Sefu Professor, can you something? My account is by multiple accounts permanently. So if they are accusing you of having multiple accounts, it's not difficult to fight, really. It really isn't. You basically say that the hub gave you the incorrect information, but you have to file a legal appeal, and I highly suggest, and I'm going to give two of my companies a shout out, and it's the same attorneys and paralegals that work for activationhero.com and gigrocket.com. You hear me mention it a lot of times. I made a video the day before yesterday, which has almost got 300,000 views in 2 days, in less than 2 days, on TikTok. And we reached a lot of drivers, and we're getting a lot of drivers reactivated. So that's what you really want to do. See if you want to go on to activationhero.com. Leo, Prestige is your friend, car wash. So shout out to Prestige, the car wash place. Excellent. Excellent. I like it. I want to give you a shout out. Prestige. Gig Success. Gig Success. I like what Gig Success here said. They do still tip. Yes, you're right. They do tip. I mean, people are tighter with their money. They are tighter with their money. They are not tipping the same amount as they used to. But good people still recognize good service. And I tip high, 20, 30%. I'm not going to tip a person high when I get in a car and they're driving like shit and the car smells like shit, looks like shit. No, they're not going to get much from me. But good people recognize good service and they still tip. You're 100% correct. Renish says, Onion auction conducting, please come. Okay, I don't know what that means. Maybe you're an auctioneer. Maybe, I'm not sure. Oh, Chow Show says, it's shame my county is only up to 2,500 small claims. Which one is that? Is that Tennessee or Montana perhaps? There are one or two states where you can't go for much in small claims, sadly, 2,500 or 3,500. If you look at states like California, 12,000, Massachusetts, 12,000. Texas, $20,000. That's 9 times as much as the lowest state. Texas has the highest small claims. We've won cases for many Texas drivers where they're getting 10, 15, 20 grand. Good. I'm happy for them. I just got another driver, Michael. He got a $3,500 DoorDash settlement we got. And that's money. That is money. So you're paying Activation Hero $69 to get the appeal, setting you up for the claim, helping you with the claim, and then you're getting $3,500 back. That's a pretty damn good return on investment. And by the way, if you are deactivated, always file the appeal, the legal appeal first, and then the claim for your lost earnings. And that claim amount, even if it's overseas in the UK or Australia where they have a tribunal, it's the same system, the small claims system. You can get dollar amounts or euro amounts, Australian dollars or Canadian dollars. You got to sue them through small claims court. It is so easy. It is too easy. Let's see who else we have here. Yes, a good question. Chow shows, do you have to pay to file a small claims? You pay a filing fee to the state, which will range between $50 to $80. There are some states that'll take up to $200, depending on the dollar amount you are suing for. But generally speaking, it's about $50 to $80 for the filing fee. Elijah said hi. I say hi back to Elijah. Yeah, so your filing fee was $200. That had to, the $200 is on the high side. That had to do with the amount of dollars you were claiming. Jimmy, JS Move Network says, I say talk within the flow of the conversation. If there's no conversation, then don't force it. 100% right. Do not force a conversation upon your rider. If they want to talk, if they want to chit chat, if they want to laugh, if they want to share stories, if you want to share your stories, once you are communicating, your tips are going higher. But if they want silence, if they're on their computer, on their phone, back off, back off. Oh, Kentucky, there we go. Kentucky, $2,500. Kentucky, wow. Damn, man, step up. Step up, Kentucky. Naran says DoorDash is using tips to pay drivers. I am not surprised. It's Tony Zoo live. All right, so I'm going to grab a quick coffee. Mustafa's in the house. Shout out to every person. You have an amazing weekend, my friends. Go out there, make money, right? Don't lose money, make money. Do not chase those $1.50, $2.50 food deliveries. If you have a car, don't do it, right? And by the way, that free tool, that GigU tool, the profit calculator, is awesome. A lot of my know-how of the 15, and I'm not saying it's awesome because I was part of it. It's because a lot of experts used their knowledge and their expertise from 10, 15, 20 years of this business that went into that profit calculator. And it's free. The GigU profit calculator is free. It starts off, what type of vehicle do you drive? What is your gas? What's your MPG? Are you leasing your car? Are you paying off your car? Do you own your car? What are your payments? Every little factor flows into the profit calculator. What are you spending on maintenance? What are you spending on cleaning? What are you spending on insurance? What are you paying on taxes? Everything flows into the profit calculator. Rex says, make them bankrupt. You can't really sue Uber or Lyft with an attorney because they will force you to go through arbitration, and that'll take 3 or 4 years. And the chance of winning in arbitration is this. If you want quick results, you're not going to get the same payout. Look, if you like, there's a Lyft driver, a good friend who had a brain injury during a crash. Yeah, we got him the best attorney, and he's going to make big dollars. He sued Lyft, right? But if you're going to go out and hire an attorney and put $5,000-$10,000 down for an attorney, and you're gonna waste 2 to 3 years back and forth in arbitration. Uber and Lyft got you. They pay the arbitrators. They're going to win that case. So I always say, hey, take a smaller amount. Small claims, a smaller amount. That can be a quick victory within 6 weeks. File, serve the papers, get a court date, go to court. 4 to 6 weeks, and you get paid. And they will always force you through arbitration, through the American Association of Arbitrators. Why? Because you probably somewhere along the line forgot to opt out of their TOS, their terms of service, their terms and conditions of service. You didn't opt out of every single one. Bam, they force you to go through arbitration. Lady K in the house. Many ways to promote the fair co-op. Reach out to me. I'll let you know. Charles is in the house. Charles says, when Uber allows customers to take back their tips, isn't that a breach of contract? 100% it's a breach of contract. You entered into a contract which included a tip. Now they allow, and I am surprised. I am very, very surprised the FTC hasn't stopped them doing this. Tip baiting, right? It's called tip baiting. And I'm very, very surprised that class action attorneys have not jumped on Uber or any company that allows tip baiting, because you have a binding contract. There's the trip amount, there's the tip amount included. Oh, and now you're reneging, now you're changing the contract and taking the tip away. That's breaking a contract. Yeah, that is grounds to sue. If you would go to small claims court and you had 50, and you can show 100 or 200 cases of tip baiting that amounted to $900, you would get that $900 because the judge will side with you, right? But who collects all the information on all the individuals that tip baited them and tip baited them for $2 and $5? But I'm just saying, if you were going to small claims and you can actually show 100 deliveries that tip baited that, let's say, amounted to $1,000, the judge will side with you because the company is allowing the customer to break the contract. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Samuel's in the house. He says, my name is Dixon Meyer. Can you shout me out? I just shouted you out big time. Woo-woo. Say my name slowly. 4 syllables, baby. Dixon Meyer in the house. There it is, my friend. Homeless family in US says it's BS. Cameron's in the house. Charles is in the house. Say my name slowly. Say my name slowly. Samuel. There we go. All right, my friends, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Go through this short video. It's not a very long video. It's got a lot of good stuff in there. To recap, shop your insurance. Start getting all your costs down. Don't go out and buy a high maintenance vehicle. Would not go out and buy a brand new vehicle at a high interest rate. Suicide. Shop properly. Auctions, dealership auctions, public auctions, and really, really learn how to keep your costs down. And there's a phenomenal app to do that. GigU. GigU has a profit calculator. Also go and get Mile IQ, track all your miles so you get the maximum back on your taxes. If you want to get money back on your gasoline, maybe use an app like Upside. But there's a lot of apps. I'd say there's 3 to 5 really good apps that can help you make more money in this business. Samuel, why was your message retracted? Samuel, why was Samuel's message was retracted? He must have been up to something. Samuel must have been up to something. All right, amigos, there it is. See, there's the color of those things. That's it. That is what we are pushing for, right? That is what we are pushing for, those Benjamins. And if you're not getting the Benjamins, go for the second best one. Let me just see what I have. I tend to collect my 50s. There we go. I got a couple. I tend to collect my 50s. There they are. That's private trips, right? That was from yesterday. Today I'm only doing 2 trips, but that was yesterday. It's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 750 yesterday. That's not bad. That's private trips, by the way. Private trips. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Dankeschön. Spasiba. Merci. Obrigado. Everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And remember, make money. Don't lose money. Subscribe and watch the Rideshare Professor's channel. Make money. Don't lose money. God bless you all. Please be safe. Keep your windows down. Keep your cars locked. Watch out for people with hoodies. Make sure you identify the person. Not that it's some sort of third-party trash person that's trying to steal your car. Be alert. Be aware. Have your, whatever paraphernalia, whether it's a knife or whether it's gas or whether you want to carry, have something ready, because there are shitty people out there with really, really terrible intentions. One person, I can just spot him on my right, walking by me right now. Very, very suspect guy. I can just vibe him out. And then I've got 4 really nice people passing my car right now. But I can vibe people out like that. You need to be able to vibe people out. Your gut tells you that guy's good, those are not good, not going to pick up this one. Follow your gut instinct, my friends, and please start making more money. I'm not saying that you're not making money. Start making more money by applying certain, show who he is. I could out him. He's right next to the car he walked by. It would be hard to show him. I'd have to go up to his face and show you his facial expressions and how he's walking, and then it would make sense to you. I'm not going to do that. I don't have to get myself into a knife fight or a boxing fight by provoking someone. But if you had seen him, you would fully understand. Your gut would have also told you, nah, not a good person. Lot of little indicators. Terrell Moore in the house. And it starts off with with certain tats, right? Eye drops, where you know, gangster boy, been in the prison, got certain little tattoos. First cue, first hint. I don't care. So what do you think people think when you walk by? I don't care a fuck what they think. That's the whole thing. I don't care a fuck. You think I would go, oh, what does he think about me? What does he think about me? No. I walk confidently through any neighborhood. I do know when to apply the street smarts. I grew up in South Africa. I ran casinos. I had 5 bulletproof cars. I had 15 armed guards with machine guns, AK-47s, Uzis, R4s. I've been around the block a few times. I've been shot at. I've been in the army. I sort of learned my street credentials running 4,000 vending machines, casinos in South Africa, in Africa, not just. I ran casinos in Kenya. I ran casino in Tanzania. I ran casinos in Mozambique. I ran casinos and vending machines in South Africa. So my street cred or my street smarts, I do believe they're legit. They could. I don't care if they care a continental shit if they think I have a bad vibe. They think you're a bad vibe. Who cares? Right? I might have a surprise for them if they have bad intentions. So, Cartha Nova, are you Jewish? Whether I was Jewish or not Jewish doesn't make a single fucking difference. Stupid question. I don't know. What is this about? We have a couple of little weirdos that are stirring the pot. I'll slap them down so fast, especially when you're 2 feet away from me. Teach you a couple of tricks. But I don't engage with trolls or little haters or little stirrers. I don't. I slap them out of my way. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. It's very simple. It's not difficult at all. It's not difficult at all, my friends. So please pay attention to the first 25 minutes. Making money, not losing money. And we will reconvene very, very soon. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and please be safe out there. Thank you, my friends. Take care and be aware. Hit the like button on the way out.